Hello and welcome to this edition of Kyushu Explorer, AFN's monthly travel program that takes you off base to the many exciting locations around Kyushu Island. I'm Petty Officer John Wagner, and joining me today is Seaman Greg House.
That's right, and there's plenty of history right here on CFAS at the Fleet Activity Sasebo Museum in the Community Education Center. But we're going to take you to 3 more museums around the Nagasaki and Saga prefectures that will be sure to take you past the confines of the Ginza.
Working so closely with the JMSDF, someone could get curious about their history, and that's why the museum is located so close to main base. The Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force Museum opened in 1997 and is practically a stone's throw away from the base and has a great view of the harbor from its top floor.
At 7 stories tall, the museum displays different aspects of the Japanese Imperial Navy and also the current operations of the JMSDF. The building that houses the JMSDF Museum is also known as the Sail Tower. The Sail Tower is a very distinguishable landmark in the Sasebo skyline. We are standing on the 7th floor of the JMSDF, or Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force Museum, just a stone's throw away from the front gate and main base Sasebo. It's about a half a mile. But from up here, you can see a great view of the Sasebo skyline and also a great view of the base itself.
Here on the 5th floor of the JMSDF Museum, there are models of ships that played major parts in various wars throughout Japan's history. And if you want to learn more about each ship, you can press the corresponding button, and a light underneath the ship will light up, and information on the ship will show on the screen.
This three-dimensional timeline gives viewers a visual representation of the early history of Japanese aviation, including the Japanese Zero plane, which played a crucial role in the attack on the U.S. bases at Pearl Harbor during World War II.
We're currently standing on the 3rd floor of the JMSDF Museum, where from 1954, which is when the JMSDF started, to now, this floor is dedicated to that history. Part of the continuing history of the JMSDF is the ships that they use.
Just the tiniest little details, seems like it's all there.
These incredibly detailed models help bring that history to life. And like any military, uniforms play an important part, whether it's flight uniforms or seasonal working uniforms.
Next on our tour of museums around Kyushu, we leave the comforts of home and Sasebo behind and head for the Saga prefecture.
About an hour drive away from base, we arrive here at the Saga Space and Science Museum, where inside people can get their hands on all kinds of interactive, educational things that have to do with science.
That's right, and before we even walk in the building, you can tell that it's a marvel in itself, and there's all kinds of things to do in there. Everything from a simulation moon jump, to flying a plane, to looking at the sun through a lens in their observatory. That being said, I'm really stoked to go. Are you stoked to go?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Stoked to go. I'll race you to the top. We're going to race to the top.
Let's go.
How'd you get up here so fast?
Use the elevator. It's right over there, man.
All right.
We started our tour of this museum on the 3rd floor Space and Discovery Zone, where Greg learned what it was like to walk on the moon.
Before I could take a walk on the wild side and go for a little spin, they had to set me up with all sorts of safety precautions like a helmet and harnesses. Safety really was their #1 concern, as they didn't want any of the patrons to get hurt while enjoying the museum. And after warning me not to jump too high, they let me go on my first moonwalking experience ever. And it really was a whole lot of fun. I've never jumped that high in my life. And unless I go to the moon or back to the Saga Space and Science Museum, I probably won't get to do it again. Now, I was really nervous for the second half of the Space Trainer, which you might have seen in popular movies or television shows like Space Camp, or maybe you even got to go to Space Camp as a child and got to use one for yourself. This piece of machinery is called the gyro. This device demonstrates the effects of G-forces on the body by spinning you around in several different directions at the same time, leaving you with a very disoriented feeling by the time your 30 seconds in the machine are over.
Secured high above your head in the Space Discovery Zone are different models related to space and space travel. We refocused our efforts from space, the final frontier, to under the sea, where as we were getting hungry, it was feeding time for our fishy friends.
Can we feed the fish too? Sure. Oh, great. You know, it is almost lunchtime.
House, what are you doing, man?
It's lunchtime.
I understand it's lunchtime. It's lunchtime for the fish. Feed the fish. They have a restaurant here. We can get some food here.
Okay.
Feed the fish, man.
One of the unique features of this restaurant is you place your order via a vending machine that dispenses tickets. Just for a few hundred yen per ticket, this makes an affordable lunch on your day trip to Saga. And only a few minutes after turning your ticket into the cashier, you soon have a gourmet meal.
That's all we had for the Saga Space and Science Museum. Next we're heading to the Mitsubishi Shipyard Museum in Nagasaki.
We begin our hour-and-a-half drive from the base to downtown Nagasaki, and much different from the rolling hills of Saga, we enter the concrete jungle of the big city.
The museum was established in October of 1985 to record for posterity the role Nagasaki Shipyard played in Japan's modernization.
We're standing next to a model of one of the original Nagasaki Iron Works repair docks, which is very similar to what a dry dock is today. This model gives you a clear idea of how ship repairs or ship construction had to be done before the days of big machinery and cranes.
This museum is full of static displays, like this piece of the hull of the Sato Maru, a ship that was hit during the Russo-Japanese War.
The red brick building also contains many photographs from the various time periods throughout the shipyard's continuing term of activity. By far the most interesting piece to me at the Mitsubishi Shipyard Museum is this quarter piece of a steam turbine that in the early 70s, the full piece reached more than 3,000 RPM. It just disintegrated into 4 equal parts, injuring many people. This piece alone weighs almost 9 tons and landed almost 900 meters away from the site of the accident.
That does it for this edition of Kyushu Explorer. We hope you've enjoyed seeing just some of the museums Kyushu has to offer. And we didn't show you everything in these museums, so be sure to make a trip there yourself. And if you'd like any other additional information, head over to Travel and Tours so they can assist you.
From all of us here at AFN, thanks for watching, and as always, happy travels.
Sasebo, what you know about that? What you know about science and space? Roles in history, shoot. I had it, and I lost it.
My buddy here.
Why you hating? I know it's recording.
Cut. That's not all, folks.